Welcome everyone, this is Kerjims channel. Now we are back to our episodes of two semi-reality champions and comparison featured by Wild League of Legends versus the Mobile Legend Bang Bang. But before that, please like and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell running so you will be notified to our new next episode video. Let's do this!
In a time long forgotten, before the sands birthed and then swallowed Shurima, beings of old magic freely walked in Terra. The borders between the mortal realm and what lay beyond it were hotly contested. Into this dangerous and volatile age, Lissandra and her sisters, Rilda and Aurora, were born. Each sought to harness the powers at war, and each paid a horrible price. Attempting to command the heavens above them, Rilda lost her voice to the first twilight. Aurora faced the twisting dark beneath the world and was defeated by its emptiness, waiting to consume all creation. It was Lissandra who stood against the wild magic of the mortal world itself. For this defiance, the savage claws of a primal god raked across her eyes, blinding her. Though each sister had lost a part of themselves, it was on the frozen fields of Lissandra's many battles that they were able to unite and prevail. Together they were unstoppable, but even a bond of blood could only weather so much. With her sight taken, Lissandra chose instead to walk in dreams. As she navigated the fitful visions of those around her, she realized only she could see the darkness below for what it was. The lingering abyss promised not only an ending, but infinity. It was death, both dangerous and full of potential. Unknown to her sisters, Lissandra struck a deal on their behalf with the godlike entities she had communed with. The Watchers would grant them near immortality in exchange for preparing Runeterra for the coming of the Void. The three sisters and their most powerful followers were named Iceborn. Those with this ability to withstand the worst of the numbing frost would be spared until the very end. However, Lissandra's sisters grew displeased. Aurora argued that the only thing worse than death was servitude. Even Rilda bristled against what would become of the world they had fought so hard for. Caught in the middle, Lissandra tried to soothe her sister's concerns while appealing to the Watchers for more time. But the unknowable nothingness cared nothing for such platitudes. The void erupted into the mortal world in the far north. And with it, Lissandra's hidden allegiance to the Watchers became undeniable. In that moment, her only choices were to let all the world be consumed, or to give up what she cared for most. Lissandra sacrificed her sisters and the allies they had gathered, entombing the Watchers beneath a glacial barrier of magical ice that could never be melted. Lissandra soon discovered that even this elemental power was not enough. The monstrous beings she had frozen were merely slumbering, slowly tainting the true ice around them into something darker. Now they wandered through Lissandra's dreams as easily as she had theirs. And always she would wait, terrified, professing her loyalty to the chilling eternity they promised. Ever the survivor, she gathered her remaining followers to venerate her and her departed sisters. If true ice would delay the inevitable end of all things, then they had to gather as much of it as they could find, and scour the frozen lands for any of Iceborn descents to join their cause. Lissandra and the first among the Frost Guard did everything in their power to rewrite history, seizing all records of what had truly happened. And yet rumors and prophecies persisted in myth and song. It was whispered that Aurora and Rilda would one day return to unite the disparate tribes. And so Lissandra had any who were hailed as their reincarnations quietly killed. Even she retreated into the shadows, periodically renewing herself with the powers she had been gifted. Like the thread that lies trapped beneath the ice, Lissandra has never been able to completely control her sister's legends. Whether from guilt or arrogance, Her failure to eradicate their legacy has manifested once more in two powerful Iceborn. One, an idealist, the other, a conqueror. And now between them, they lead many tribes within the Freljord. Lissandra watches them carefully, seeking any opportunity to pit them against one another, all the while redoubling her own efforts to lock away the terrible secrets she had buried deep under the citadel. And she must hurry, for the ice is beginning to melt. And now, let's explain what really happened in this story. All of this began in times before any other story we know of. Long before Shurima, Ikathia, Rune Wars, or even any of the Targon stories. These were times when the emptiness of the Void first noticed Runeterra and its universe. And one of the first places where the Voids tried to invade Runeterra was in Freljord. Of course, we learned that Lissandra, Serylda, and Avarosa were born into this age. Lissandra is simply Lissandra, Serylda has now reincarnated into Sejuani, and Avarosa now has her descendant Ash. When the original three sisters were born, however, those were times when mortals first started having an influence on Runeterra, so we can assume that the three sisters were something more than just bare mortals. But we don't know a lot about that part yet. What we do know is that each of the sisters tried to harness the powers that fought against each other. By this, I mean the powers of the Void and the magic of Runeterra. Serylda tried to command the heavens above them. This of course means that she tried to command Targon, a mortal enemy of the Void. In other words, it seems like Serylda was the first one who wanted to delve into and create aspects of Targon on Runeterra. However, Serylda lost her voice to the first Twilight. Notice how the story just calls it Twilight. No aspects or avatars. So it was the real Twilight God itself that punished Serylda. No aspect like the fan favorite zone. Avarosa tried to face the twisting dark beneath the world. In other words, Avarosa tried to command the Void, but she failed and lost a piece of her sanity. Lissandra was the one who tried to harness the powers of their own world. That's the reason why she was punished. The story says that she was raked across her eyes by the savage claws of a primal god. A god we know as Volibear. Being blind, she didn't have much use in the world around her. So she delved into the dreams and visions of those who surrounded her. And through those visions, she was slowly corrupted by the masters of the Void. They told her that they could make her people immortal, and all they wanted in exchange was a free pass into Runeterra. To Lissandra, this sounded like a better deal rather than just dying. The reason why the Watchers and the Void needed the worlds to be prepared for their arrival was because the Void spent all of its existence in darkness. Runeterra and the universe is like a blinding light to them, and in the moment of transition into the physical plane, they would surely be disoriented and vulnerable. So of course, Lissandra secretly shook her hand with their tentacle, and the Void turned her people into the Iceborn. Frost-resistant, nearly immortal people. So when the Void finally erupted on Runeterra, Lissandra's secrets were out, and it was obvious that she was the one who doomed them all. So she sealed the Watchers and everyone who was there at the time in a magical ice barrier. With that, she got rid of all who knew about her betrayal as well. And ever since that moment, it was Lissandra's personal goal to make sure nobody would know what truly happened. This includes quietly killing any future reincarnations of Serylda and Avarosa. Her motives are a little bit shady here. We don't really know why it is her goal to let the legend of her sisters die, since her real goal should be to keep the Watchers sealed. But it is something that might be explained in a future story, especially since we will have a look at Belcon next. And finally, here I want to drop a short guide that should help you decide what story to read next. One of the reasons why Lissandra was punished was because she was likely looking into the powers of the World Runes. The World Runes are powerful stones that carry the essence of creation. So if you are interested in that, and if you'd like to read about what the World Runes can really do, it might be a good idea to read about Rai, the safekeeper and overall hero that literally prevents mortals from destroying themselves. If you got interested by Serylda being blinded by the first Twilight, I would recommend looking into Zoe first. That should give you an idea of what the Twilight God even is. And if you want, you can also delve into the other Targonian aspect. Pentheon explains how one can even become an aspect, and Leona and Diana have a story about the sun and moon going against each other. Tariq is also part of this, but he is a special one on the side. Even though yes, he is also an aspect of Targon. But after that, you have to have a look at Aatrox and the story Twilight of the Gods. It explains the overall impact Targon has on Runeterra. It will explain what happened after Shurima blew up because Xerath betrayed Azir, and how the Shurivan Ascended are connected to Targon. Of course, by those I mean Ascended like Nasus and Renekton. All of this is also tied to Icathia. So if you'd like to read about gods fighting the monsters of the void, go and have a look at the story Fall of Icathia.